There's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't chase attention, but naturally commands it. She speaks, and the world listens. She smiles, and everything slows down. Her words aren't rushed. Her tone isn't desperate, and her energy feels different. Because she knows her worth isn't proven by how someone reacts. It's revealed by how she carries herself. This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about energy, the kind of quiet power that draws people in without a single word. When a high-value woman talks, it's not what she says, it's how she says it. And that difference, it's the reason why her presence feels unforgettable. She speaks from a place of calm confidence, never from a need to impress or prove anything. When she talks, her tone is steady, her words are deliberate, and her energy feels grounded. She doesn't rush to fill the silence because she's comfortable with it. That comfort alone says more than 1,000 words could. A high-value woman understands that her power lies in her presence, not in her performance. She doesn't over-explain herself or try to justify her thoughts to be liked or accepted. Instead, she expresses what she feels with clarity and grace. Her confidence comes from within, not from the reactions she gets, but from the peace she's built inside herself. When she enters a conversation, she doesn't try to dominate it or chase validation. She listens deeply, makes eye contact, and speaks with intention. Her words flow like water, calm, assured, and full of quiet strength. This subtle control creates an invisible pull, a kind of magnetic energy that makes others lean in closer without realizing why. She's not trying to convince anyone of her worth. She simply embodies it. That's what sets her apart. Her voice carries conviction, but her energy carries serenity. Even in moments of disagreement, she doesn't raise her tone or become defensive. She responds, not reacts. She knows her emotions are hers to manage, not weapons to throw. That kind of composure creates trust and respect, because emotional maturity is rare and deeply attractive. It's not about pretending to be emotionless. It's about being emotionally balanced. She can express herself, but she never loses herself in expression. Every word is intentional, every pause meaningful. And perhaps the most captivating thing about her is how she leaves space. She doesn't talk over others. She lets silence breathe between her sentences. That pause, that unspoken confidence, it tells everyone listening that she's not afraid to be seen or heard exactly as she is. It's not arrogance, it's self-assurance. When she speaks, she makes people feel safe, seen, and drawn in, not by effort, but by essence. A high-value woman doesn't chase understanding. She creates it. She doesn't demand attention. She naturally attracts it. Her energy whispers what her words never need to say. I know who I am, and that quiet certainty is the most powerful language of all. She knows the power of mystery, not as a tactic, but as a natural expression of self, respect. She doesn't reveal everything about herself all at once, because she understands that true depth unfolds over time. When she speaks, she shares enough to connect, but never enough to be completely read. There's always a layer of intrigue, a subtle sense that there's more to discover beneath her calm surface. That mystery keeps people drawn in, not because she hides who she is, but because she values her emotional space. She knows not everyone deserves full access to her thoughts, her dreams, or her past. She shares pieces, not the whole picture, because she understands that her energy is sacred, and she protects it. When she talks, there's no oversharing, no constant need to explain where she's been or why she did something. She speaks from experience, not for validation. Her boundaries are firm but never cold. She can be warm and kind, while still keeping her personal world guarded, with quiet dignity. This balance makes her fascinating, approachable, yet untouchable in the best way. She gives glimpses, not confessions. She connects, but she doesn't collapse into others. And in that restraint, there's undeniable strength. She knows that mystery isn't about silence, it's about self-control. She doesn't use her words to fill every pause or to gain approval. She's selective, thoughtful, and deliberate. People can sense it. That calm awareness that she doesn't need to be understood by everyone. It's the way she carries her stories, the way she hints at experiences, without needing to detail them. Every sentence she speaks leaves a quiet question in the air. Who is she, really? And that question lingers long after the conversation ends. This kind of communication builds allure because it leaves room for imagination. She allows others to wonder, to feel curious, to earn the right to know her deeper layers. She doesn't hand out emotional access like it costs nothing. She makes people work for understanding, not out of pride, but because she knows her story has value. When she speaks, she doesn't oversell herself. She lets her presence do the talking, and that's what keeps her unforgettable. The high-value woman's mystery isn't an act. It's a reflection of self-worth. She knows that not everyone deserves her whole truth, and that's why her silence, at times, speaks louder than words ever could. She speaks with warmth, but never with neediness. Every word she says carries a sense of inner peace that makes others feel at ease around her. She knows that true connection doesn't come from trying to please or impress someone. It comes from authenticity. So, when she talks, she's not performing. She's being real. Her laughter is genuine, her compliments are sincere, and her tone carries both softness and strength. People feel safe around her because she doesn't project desperation. She projects presence. She's not trying to win anyone over. She's just fully there, enjoying the moment for what it is, not what it could become. She understands that energy speaks before words do. So, even when she's silent, her aura says everything. She's not afraid to look someone in the eye and hold that gaze just a second longer. Not as a challenge, but as a quiet display of confidence. Her body language is open but composed, her gestures slow and intentional. Every move she makes communicates ease and self-assurance. There's no rush, no fidgeting, no trying too hard. She has mastered the art of relaxed confidence, the kind that makes others feel comfortable, curious, and drawn in all at once. In conversation, she listens deeply. She doesn't interrupt, doesn't talk over others, and doesn't force her opinion into every gap. She listens because she values understanding more than being right. That kind of attentiveness makes others feel seen and heard. And that's powerful. People don't remember every word that's spoken to them, but they always remember how they felt in someone's presence. She leaves people feeling lighter, respected, and intrigued. It's the kind of energy that lingers long after she's gone. Even in disagreement, she doesn't let her emotions hijack her composure. She doesn't argue to prove a point. She communicates to create clarity. Her tone stays calm, her words remain thoughtful, and her expression never turns bitter or defensive. She knows that her peace is her power, and she refuses to hand that power away. The more she stays centered, the more her energy speaks for her. There's a certain radiance in how she speaks, not loud or forceful, but steady and grounded. She doesn't chase understanding or attention. She simply embodies both. Her voice carries confidence without arrogance, kindness without submission. And that balance, the grace between strength and softness, is what makes her unforgettable. She communicates with emotional intelligence, which means she understands not just what she's saying, but how her words make others feel. She's aware of her tone, her timing, and her energy. She never uses words as weapons, and she doesn't allow her emotions to dictate her communication. Instead, she lets emotional awareness guide her. When she speaks, her words flow with intention, not impulse. She pauses before responding, giving herself space to choose grace over reaction. That pause alone shows wisdom. It says she values harmony over drama, truth over ego. She has mastered the subtle art of empathy. When she listens with her whole presence, not just to respond, but to understand. She picks up on unspoken emotions, the quiet pauses between sentences, the small shifts in tone that reveal how someone truly feels. And when she responds, her words hold a sense of understanding that makes others feel seen, not judged. She knows that connection isn't built through agreement, but through emotional attunement. That's why her conversations never feel like battles. They feel like exchanges of energy, balanced and mutual. Her emotional intelligence shows most in how she handles tension. When things get heated, she doesn't match chaos with chaos. She breathes, she grounds herself, and she maintains her composure. She knows that losing her calm means losing her power. She doesn't let anyone pull her into emotional games because she knows her worth isn't defined by someone else's reaction. If the energy in the room becomes heavy, she becomes the calm within it. That kind of stability is rare, and people feel it. It's what draws others toward her. The sense that she's emotionally safe, mature, and unshakable. She also knows that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's strength in its purest form. She can open up when she chooses, but she does so from a place of self-awareness, not desperation. When she expresses her feelings, she owns them fully. She doesn't blame, accuse, or demand. She simply states her truth with quiet conviction. Her vulnerability doesn't beg for rescue. It inspires respect. In every conversation, she balances empathy with boundaries. She cares deeply, but never at the expense of herself. Her emotional intelligence allows her to give warmth without losing balance, to connect without losing control. And that emotional steadiness, that beautiful blend of heart and composure, is what makes her presence impossible to forget. She communicates through feminine energy, not by trying to dominate, but by flowing effortlessly through conversation. Her strength isn't loud or forceful. It's magnetic and soft. When she speaks, there's a rhythm to her words, a gentle cadence that feels both soothing and captivating. She doesn't compete for attention. She naturally attracts it by being authentic and emotionally present. Her energy is receptive yet strong, open yet discerning. She embodies grace in her tone, movement, and responses. It's not about pretending to be delicate. It's about knowing the quiet power that lies in softness. She understands that true influence doesn't come from control. It comes from alignment, from being at peace with who she is. When she speaks, she leans into her intuition. She senses when to listen, when to ask, and when to simply hold silence. She allows emotion to color her words without letting it overwhelm them. There's a feminine wisdom in the way she communicates, fluid, adaptable, and emotionally aware. People feel calm in her presence because she doesn't force connection. She creates it through her authenticity. She doesn't try to outtalk or outshine anyone. Instead, she glows quietly, and that glow pulls others in. She also understands that feminine energy doesn't mean submission. It means strength with softness, conviction with compassion. She can assert herself with kindness, set boundaries without aggression, and disagree without creating tension. When she says, "No," it's firm but graceful. When she says, "Yes," it's wholehearted and sincere. Her words carry emotional clarity. There's no confusion about her intent, because everything she says comes from alignment, not impulse. That consistency builds trust, because people can feel her authenticity in every interaction. She uses her energy to uplift, not to compete. Her compliments are thoughtful, her curiosity genuine. She finds beauty in others without feeling threatened by it. That's the essence of her femininity. She's secure in herself, so she can appreciate without comparison. And when she engages in conversation, her warmth makes others want to open up. There's no pretense, no emotional manipulation, just genuine interest. Her femininity isn't a mask, it's an aura. It's the way she moves, speaks, listens, and responds with intention. It's in her ability to remain kind yet confident, soft yet powerful. Every word she speaks carries a gentle authority that can't be ignored. And that balance of emotion, intuition, and quiet strength is what makes her energy irresistible. She speaks from self-awareness, not insecurity. Every word she chooses comes from a place of inner clarity. She knows who she is, what she values, and what she stands for. That's why her communication feels so centered. There's no confusion, no contradiction. She doesn't seek approval in her words, because her validation already comes from within. When she speaks, she's not trying to be understood by everyone. She's simply expressing her truth with calm certainty. That authenticity resonates deeper than any rehearsed charm ever could. People can sense when someone is real, and she is unmistakably real. Her self-awareness gives her a natural calmness in conversation. She doesn't need to overcompensate, to brag, or to prove her worth through stories or achievements. Her energy says it all. She's aware of her strengths, but also humble enough to acknowledge her flaws. When she speaks about herself, she does so with confidence, not arrogance. She doesn't hide her imperfections. She embraces them because they make her human. That kind of transparency builds instant trust. It's not about being perfect. It's about being grounded in truth. Because she knows herself. She also knows what she will and will not tolerate. She communicates her boundaries with clarity. Never aggression. When something doesn't align with her energy, she doesn't argue. She simply steps back. She's not afraid of silence, distance, or walking away. Because she trusts that what's meant for her will never require her to shrink. Her strength lies in her calm detachment, not coldness, but quiet self-respect. Every no, she says, is an act of alignment. Every yes, an act of authenticity. She also uses self-awareness to elevate her emotional communication. She recognizes her triggers and manages them instead of projecting them. When something bothers her, she reflects before reacting. That level of emotional discipline makes her conversations meaningful, not messy. She brings understanding instead of judgment, clarity instead of confusion. Her presence feels safe because she's mastered herself, her emotions, her words, and her energy. And perhaps the most captivating thing about her is the peace she carries. You can feel it when she talks. That serene confidence that comes from knowing she's enough. With or without anyone's approval, her words don't demand attention. They've commanded through truth and self-assurance. She doesn't chase connection. she attracts it effortlessly because her energy speaks louder than her voice ever needs to.